Hello, howdy, hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Grace, and this is a series on my channel called Artist Diaries. It's sort of like a virtual, digital video newsletter where I talk to you about once a week, usually on a Friday or a Saturday, about my life as someone who's aspiring to be a full-time artist. I kind of rolled my eyes there because I don't like the aspiring artist thing. I feel like if you're making art, you're an artist, but regardless, I want to be an artist full-time, and so I sit here and I yap about it with you, and thank you for joining in on the yap. Today I have this delicious little pink drink. It's not a Starbucks pink drink, but it's kind of like a hack combo. Vita Coco has a strawberry and cream beverage, which is basically the Starbucks pink drink. And then I added a little splash of the Trader Joe's strawberry soda to give it that little like fizziness. Really good. But we're not here to talk about sodas or beverages. We're here to talk about me. So this week, I wanted to talk to you about what I've been doing beyond using TikTok, because I think I mentioned it in my video where I talked about Lent, that I gave up on TikTok and Instagram. I have not been on Instagram on my phone, really, since the beginning of Lent. I do have this thing where like every now and then I totally forget, and then I like zone out. And it's like that thing where like you walk into your kitchen and then you're like, why am I here? That's what happens. Like I'll be opening my phone and I know that I'm not allowed to go on Instagram right now, but I'll just like open my phone and then suddenly I'm opening Instagram and I'm like, oh my God, no, stop. So yeah, other than that, I'm really not on Instagram. Except occasionally I will check my DMs on Instagram on my laptop, because I pointed to my laptop, because sometimes I have DMs from people, like not like that kind of DMs, but like from friends or like other actors that I know, and so it's good to know what's happening. But that's the only time I've been on Instagram during the whole Lent, and I have not been on TikTok at all, which means I'm super out of the loop. I just found out that that guy from Grey's Anatomy died like last week, and I also just found out about the Taylor Frankie Paul situation, which is crazy. So I really actually don't know much about either of those, but yeah, I'm just out of the loop. I don't know what's going on really at all. So that's kind of where I've been at. But the thing is like, if I'm not doing TikTok, I should replace it with something. And obviously part of the point of Lent is if you're like giving something up, you should be replacing it with something like that's spiritually enriching. Like it's supposed to bring you closer to God. And I have been trying that a little bit. I got this silly little journal at like Marshall's for $5 because I felt like I haven't been in a habit of reading my Bible every day, but I wanted to like have something, because I knew that I wasn't going to be reading my Bible every day. So, and I honestly haven't even been doing this every day, but I keep it on my bed, and when I can recall that I should be doing it, I try to go in here and just go to the next day on the thing and read the Bible verse and write down a little bit of a prayer. And that's kind of been one of the like spiritual things that I've been doing for Lent. And then secondly, I have an app on my phone called Sacred Space, which is, I think, a app made by some Jesuit group in like the UK. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, it's basically just a guided prayer app. It's free, unlike the big one that people see sometimes. Sorry, this is like a really Christian-y intro to the episode, but I don't know. I usually don't talk about all of my like faith stuff right off the bat, but since we're talking about my giving up of TikTok, we have to address this issue or this matter of, yeah, basically I gave up TikTok because of Lent. But yeah, so this Jesuit app that gives guided prayers, and there's one for every day, and it's very simple. And I try to do that every day, which has been nice. I'm not a Jesuit, I'm not Catholic, but my church encouraged us to do Lent, so that is what I have been doing. Other than replacing TikTok with those more spiritual things, I've also been trying to replace TikTok with like things that are enriching to me as an artiste. But I'll be completely honest, in a lot of ways I've just replaced TikTok with YouTube videos and podcasts, which isn't all horrible. I do think it's doing something for like the attention span, right? Because a lot of the YouTube videos I'm interested in are longer than 3 minutes long, and a lot of the podcasts are like full podcasts. I've been listening to mostly the same ones that I always do, which would be Sadboyz, shout out Sadboyz, Perfect Person, the best one, and I started listening to Sounds Like a Cult, which has been really interesting. And what else have I been listening to? Oh, Hank Green. Hank Green does these like daily videos that are like relatively pretty short. I don't know how he's filming every single day, because getting me to film once a week is super freaking annoying, honestly. I mean, I love it and I'm excited to like grow my channel, but sometimes, like today, I'm feeling lazy and procrastinating, and I wait until like 5 p.m. to film my video. And Hank Green is out here filming every single day, which is insane. So anyway, shout out to Hank Green. His stuff is really interesting because it's like not at all really focused on any one thing in particular, just like whatever speaks to him in the moment, and I love that. I learn a lot of things from him. Have I been listening to anything else? I started watching, I'm gonna like maybe, well, I don't know, I'll maybe link to some of these things that I'm talking about in the description, because yeah, I guess this is sort of a sharing like what I've been consuming type of episode, and I want you to know the fun things that I've been into. So yeah, I've been watching this YouTuber, I cannot remember her name right now. I feel like it's Caroline, something like that. She does like interior design stuff, and that's been super interesting. She did a video at some point, because I've just kind of been going through the backlog of her stuff. She did a video at some point about like anxious attachment style, and that was like, ooh, really good to listen to, but it like had me kind of shook for a minute there. And then I've been listening to this woman named Pearl something. Again, these are like people that I'm pretty new to. And she has YouTube videos and also a podcast. Not that weird white girl that's like super conservative and mean. This is a different Pearl. But this Pearl makes really like inspirational stuff, and it feels like I'm listening to a motivational speaker / big sister who is a little bit tough lovey, but it's good to hear, especially because I don't have a big sister figure. So yeah, those are kind of the like media things, like digital media things that I've been consuming. And then let me show you like the books. Why did I do quotations? I don't know. The books that I've been looking at. Okay. This is called The Decision Book. Basically, my friend, Elliot, is moving like this week. And so he was getting rid of a lot of books. And so I got a few books from him. And I got this one. It's called The Decision Book. It's Models for Strategic Thinking. I kind of like read through a bunch of different little, not really chapters, but different little models that it has listed here. And they're interesting. I don't know that I'm gonna like keep this book when I move, but it's been fun to look through in the moment, and it keeps me off of TikTok. Another book that I've been looking at and actually reading and actually quite enjoying is Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. I have read his other work, his other books. I read Steal Like an Artist when I was in college, and I think I have a copy of it somewhere around here. So I've been really enjoying Steal Like an Artist, Show Your Work, because I think it's kind of what I've been trying to do here is like, yeah, create a space for me to talk about what I'm interested in and what I'm doing, and hopefully find an audience like you, if you're watching, who's interested in joining me on the journey. And I think that this will be full of lots of good tips and tricks and inspirations for how to keep going. So that's cool. What else have I been reading? Lots of plays. I recently read, what's it called? It's a play. Oh, it's a play called Cost of Living. I don't know the name of the author off of the top of my head, but I read it because I was picking a monologue from it to do for some of my auditions. And yeah, it's a great play. I really highly recommend it. I'll put a link, I'll like write in the description below what the name of this play is and who the author is. I know the name is Cost of Living, but yeah, the author, I couldn't tell you. I'm gonna grab these other two books that are on the floor over here that I also got from Elliot. So give me 1 second. She's back. Hi. Okay. These other two books that I got from him, I actually have, 3 books. Hold on. Hope you enjoyed those old woman sounds as I moved on my bed. Okay. The Book of Overthinking. I'm gonna have to skim this a little bit before I decide if I'm keeping it, but the girl be overthinking, so could be useful. This one is called You Need a Manifesto. It's like about, I kind of skimmed it a little bit. It's kind of just basically saying that like you need to know like who you are and what you stand for, and you should write it down. I don't know if I'm really into it, but I'm gonna read a little bit more of it and see if it's something that I'm interested in keeping or not. And then I also got this, which is The Marriage of Heaven and Hell by William Blake, or about William Blake, or something like that. William Blake was like this artist and poet, and I honestly don't recall too much about him. I know I read some of his poetry probably when I think he's a poet. I feel like he did poetry. But yeah, I've definitely read some of his poetry before, but now I'm not recalling anything about it. But I thought that the cover was interesting, and it has all these interesting like illuminated manuscripts inside, which I think is super cool. So I want to read through this. and it's tiny, so I'll probably take it with me. Speaking of taking books with me, I've been telling you guys that I'm gonna make this big video about movies, and I am gonna make that video at some point in my life. But I'm realizing that I probably won't be able to do it within the next month. Hold. The reason for my delay in making this video is that, number one, I'm gonna need a new phone, like kind of soon. My phone is like an iPhone 11, maybe, and it's old and it's running out of storage all the time. I'm actually really worried right now that it's run out of storage during me filming this, but I'm not gonna check, and we'll just have to see how it goes. But it's constantly running out of storage. The screen is messed up, and I replaced it with a cheapo screen instead of an Apple screen, and it's cracked on the back, and it's just bad. So I need to get a new phone probably soon, and I feel like it would just be so much easier to film that video, because it'll be a long one, on a phone that is not constantly running out of storage. So that's number one why I haven't filmed the video yet, because I have tried to make that video at least 3 times, and I'll like yap for about 30 to 40 minutes and then turn my phone around, and it's either like, you're out of battery, I'm gonna die now, or it's like, you're out of storage and I stopped recording 15 minutes ago. It makes me want to scream, obviously. So I'm not doing it. I'm just not gonna like put myself through the stress when I know that if it doesn't work out again, I'm gonna like crash out. So the movie video is awaiting, but again, I said we're talking about getting rid of books and keeping books. I'm moving within like a month, and I have a lot of books because I used to work at Barnes & Noble, and when I worked at Barnes & Noble, the one that I worked at closed, and so then everything was like on sale. And okay, this is a fun fact about like those kinds of stores, like chain stores, when they sell or when they like close down, usually they'll kind of do like a tiered going out of business sale, where basically they like started off as like, everything is 10% off because we're closing soon, and you're like, oh wow, I should go there and get the things for 10% off. Don't do that, because then the next week they'll be like, everything's 25% off because we're closing soon, and usually they'll go up to like 75% off, something like that. Anyway, they definitely, yeah, with Barnes & Noble, they went up to like 75% off before we closed. And so when that happened, me and my coworkers, I don't know if we're allowed to, I don't know, whatever, you're gonna do whatever you want to do, and Barnes & Noble is a big enough company. Me and my coworkers basically just like collected all of the books that we wanted before they even got to 10% off, and we hid them in like these like lockers that were like hidden in the store. And yeah, so we hid them there until we got to 75% off, and then we all bought them. And so I bought like $200 worth of books, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you realize that it was 75% off, it was like, actually, yeah, around $200, maybe $300 worth of books. So it was, I spent that much money on what would have been around like $800 worth of books, which is crazy. So anyway, long story short, I have a lot of books and I haven't read most of them, and I probably never will. And so I'll have to make a decision soonish about which books I'm gonna be taking with me to New York and which books I'm going to be leaving behind. And so all of that's to say, I'm going to make a video for you and for me of me going through every single book that I own and whether or not I'm taking it with me or donating it or selling it or what have you. And part of the reason I'm making that a video is because I think it'll be good content, and part of it is because I think I will procrastinate on getting through my books if I don't do that. So have that video probably in the next few days, by next week at least. Okay, moving on. What else have I been replacing TikTok with? Well, a lot of Pinterest, honestly. And I'm trying to like get out of Pinterest a little bit because I mean, everyone's been saying this, but like ever since they had a lot of AI be put into it, and then also I think the algorithm changed and there's a lot of ads now, or like sponsored posts, and that's just like super annoying, and you start like not having a good algorithm for your Pinterest, and I want to have a good algorithm for my Pinterest. So I've been like looking into different inspiration-y type places on the internet, and one of them is a website called Sublime that I've been looking into. It's interesting. It like wants you to have a membership that you pay for, but there's a free version, but the free version, I don't know if I really love it. It's kind of Pinteresty. It's sort of like you can find a post and then find related posts, but it seems like kind of dull, and like there's just like not a ton happening on there that I'm like massively interested in at the moment. I don't know if I need to like rig the algorithm a little bit more first, but it's something I've been playing with this week. And if you have Sublime and you enjoy it, tell me about it. Like, tell me what you like about it, how it works for you. Another one that I've been trying out is called Complexities, I think. And it's kind of like Notion. Like, it's kind of a note-taking thing that will sort of like connect. It's like a big way to connect your notes in one place to another place. I feel like I'm not explaining it very well, and maybe I'll have to come back and talk about it another time. But I also think part of it is because I really only used either of these for like a day or two. So yeah, Complexities. It's kind of interesting. It'll let you write notes, let you make like super links between notes and graph how your notes connect to each other, and you can like put in links to articles that you've read or videos that you've watched and all sorts of stuff. So it's kind of interesting. I think it could be fun, but it's just not like massively intuitive in the way that Pinterest is. And so I'm kind of looking for something a little bit more along the Pinterest vibe. But these things are interesting anyway, and I think they could be useful to some degree at some point. So those are the little tooly things that I've been playing around with this week. And that brings us to today. Another thing that I've been doing that replaces TikTok is working out. I went to a Pilates class on Monday, and then I've got a membership at a yoga studio, like an unlimited 30 days. So I like worked out. I did yoga 2 days in a row, and then this morning I had another Pilates class at this yoga studio, and so I'm just like really sore and a little bit low energy because I've been exercising a lot, hence why I procrastinated here. But yeah, that's basically what I've got going on. I've put in applications to a couple of the summer intensive programs that I'm interested in for acting, and I have some leads on. Just as I suspected, my phone decided to cut off at the very end of my video. So anyway, all I was saying was that I have some leads on places to stay when I first get to New York, and that's very exciting. And with that, I will say, love ya. Bye-bye.